Hey everyone! If you enjoyed this video, the full version is available on Patreon. I'll be uploading all my content there going forward.
Chapter 1. The year 2517 of the Blue Star Era. Today is the coming-of-age ceremony for all senior students at Zhongcheng No. 3 Middle School, a day of awakening that will inevitably rewrite their destiny. At Awakening Square, more than 318-year-olds stood in neat rows, their faces filled with tension and anticipation. In the center of the square stands a pure white stone monument, its body surrounded by a faint, seven-colored glow. That is the power of creation that gathers the origin of heaven and earth, which can activate the seed of creation within each person and condense into their own unique destiny world. Fang Ming stood at the end of the line, his heart pounding. He wasn't originally from this world, he was a time traveler. In his past life, he was a Minecraft content creator who participated in a Minecraft building relay challenge. Unexpectedly, he had to finish the task in just 2 days, so he worked non-stop for 26 hours straight until he finally died from exhaustion. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself on a planet called Blue Star, and 18 years had passed since then. He had already figured out the rules of this world. Everyone who turns 18 can awaken their destined world through the Awakening Monument and become the creator. The size of the landmass of one's destined world, the rules it contains, and the useful resources it can produce directly determine the potential of the creator. The wider the land area, the stronger the rules, and the more terrifying the power. The core cultivation path of the creator is to nurture one's own natal world and plunder the world origins of others. Simply put, this is an era where the strong prey on the weak, and life and death are determined by the awakening of the world. Fang Ming's expectations were far stronger than others. Because he was a time traveler, he had tried various methods over the past 18 years, such as shouting the system into thin air, playing chess with old men in parks, and buying a bunch of useless things from street vendors, etc. I've tried all the methods I read about in novels from my past life, but they're completely useless. He can only pray now that he's one of those protagonists in a novel, possessing extraordinary talent. Next up, Fang Ming. Beside the Awakening Monument, the old headmaster with white hair rang out in a deep voice, carrying a hint of vicissitude, yet containing a magnificent aura. Fang Ming snapped out of his daze, took a deep breath, stepped forward, and gently placed his palm on the cool Awakening Monument. He felt a surge of warm energy flow from the monument into his body, rushing straight to his mind. Deep within my mind, a seed that had been quietly floating suddenly shattered. A strange power surged forth, condensing into a small, nascent world within the sea of consciousness. A piece of information flooded my mind. My favorite world, Minecraft, exclusive. Land area, 10mx10mx10m. World rules, basic block rules, mining, placing, and crafting basic blocks. World resources, soil, stone, oak. Current level, none. Loaded module, none. The origin of the world, 1. Fang Ming's pupils suddenly contracted, he had actually awakened to his own world. Just as Lin Mo was stunned, his projection of his natal world was synchronized by the Awakening Monument onto the huge light screen in the center of the square. Within the light curtain, on a tiny patch of land, grows a solitary little tree composed entirely of blocks. It has neither cool elemental rules nor powerful martial arts aura, it's just a bare, blocky world. The principal was stunned for a moment before he realized what was happening, and felt a pang of pity. Fang Ming, on an ordinary continent, initially possessed 10 meters of land with no extraordinary power or laws. Silence, deathly silence. The next second, deafening laughter erupted in the square. Ha ha ha, 10 meters? Did I read that right? This is considered the world? I'm dying of laughter. Fang Ming just created an air world? It's nothing but some strangely shaped soil and rocks. Is this even worthy of being called his natal world? From now on, Fang Ming will undoubtedly be the most worthless and incompetent creator of Earth. Mocking, sneer, and gloating voices surged towards Wang Li like a tide. He didn't care, only he himself knew how extraordinary the world he had awakened to was. Fang Ming, are you all right? A voice, seemingly worried but with a hint of mockery hidden beneath, rang out. A tall man with ordinary looks walked towards him. This was Li Hao, his only friend from childhood to adulthood, because he didn't usually like to talk. Because he looks very much like Kun Kun from his past life, he is often confessed to by girls, so the boys in school don't like him much. Li Hao was the only one among these people who got close to him, and they became friends. However, in order not to worry his parents in this life, he made friends with Li Hao from childhood to adulthood, regardless of whether Li Hao was a little kid or not, just to make himself look more normal. It's all right, I had that in mind. Fang Ming smiled, sensing the hint of mockery, and his tone became calmer. Seeing that his expression was normal, Li Hao felt a slight displeasure, but he did not show it. He hasn't awakened yet. If he fails to awaken, he'll be stuck as an ordinary person for the rest of his life. Even if Fang Ming is the weakest creator in history, he is still not someone an ordinary person can provoke. Li Hao stepped forward and patted Fang Ming on the shoulder. Don't be discouraged, at least you've already transcended the ordinary. Fang Ming frowned slightly and shook off his hand. Yeah, good luck to you too. Li Hao silently withdrew his hand, feeling a surge of anger, but dared not lash out, and could only curse silently in his heart. What are you pretending to be, a piece of trash from an initial world, only 10 meters tall? Once I awaken, you'll be the first one I cripple. Next, Li Hao. Li Hao quickly composed himself, stepped out of the group, and placed his hand on the stone tablet. Fang Ming is now carefully exploring his world, and he discovers that he can control everything that exists within it. The creator of this world can control almost everything within his own natal world. And this, when applied to my world, is absolutely incredible. Fang Ming tried to use his mind to decompose the lonely oak tree. Splash! A pile of blocks fell to the ground and floated silently. He tried to manipulate the 4 wooden planks with his mind, and a workbench was created in the next second. It's done. Fang Ming could not hide his excitement. As long as they could synthesize it, it would mean unlimited resources and an infinitely expanding continent. At this moment, Li Hao's world was also displayed on the light screen in the square. Within the light screen, a small, expansive continent, approximately 500 meters in size, could be seen. At this moment, this small world was filled with wisps of red mist. This is... A smile finally appeared on the principal's face. Li Hao, the initial continent is 1,000 meters wide, and the world within contains the laws of qi, blood, and martial arts. The crowd erupted in uproar. Li Hao is about to take off. He's almost matching that genius from number 1 high school this year in the 1,000-meter dash. Even Long Aotian from number 1 high school is only 1,500 meters tall, and that's in a purely technological world. Li Hao's world, however, has extraordinary laws. There was much discussion in the audience. Li Hao could not hide his ecstatic joy. He had finally waited for this day, and no one would dare to look down on him anymore. As if he had just thought of something, he glanced in Fang Ming's direction, and a slow smile appeared on his lips. Chapter 2. Soon everyone had awakened. The principal coughed lightly, silencing the clamor of voices in the square. Over the next month, I hope all future creators can rapidly develop their worlds in preparation for the upcoming academy competition. The principal's expression turned serious as he spoke. One more thing, although it's often mentioned at school, I still want to emphasize it, even if you have enough resources, please don't rush to advance to the next world. Make sure to properly shield your world's aura to prevent invasion by extraterrestrial demons. As soon as he finished speaking, the atmosphere in the room gradually quieted down. Obstacle. This is the inevitable path for every creator. Whenever a world advances, its aura leaks out, and the demons within the Chaos Sea sense this, launching a suicidal invasion of the advancing world. The students in the audience snapped out of their daze at successfully awakening their innate world, and the initial excitement and exhilaration slowly cooled down. The real challenge begins after the world is awakened. So far, the probability of successfully breaking through one's destined world and advancing to the next level after awakening is less than 50%. The best solution would be to ask a high-level creator to shield oneself from world information, but that is something that ordinary creators cannot afford. After the old principal finished speaking, apart from Li Hao and a few others whose fates in their respective worlds were relatively valuable and were called away, the rest of the people slowly dispersed. Fang Ming strode quickly out of the school. He couldn't wait to develop his own world. Fang Ming walked out of Awakening Square. The crowd at the school gate was bustling. However, he paused slightly as he walked out of the school gate, his gaze falling on a particularly eye-catching girl in the crowd. The girl was wearing the school uniform of Zhongcheng No. 3 Middle School. She was slender, with delicate features, and was the class's undisputed beauty. Over the past 3 years, Fang Ming has seen all the love letters she sent and the breakfasts she brought, but he has always kept his distance. At this moment, Lin Qingxiu's eyes were slightly red, clearly indicating that she was also among those who failed to awaken. She looked up and met Fang Ming's gaze. A complex mix of emotions surged in her eyes: resentment, grievance, and a hint of awkwardness. In the end, she just bit her lip, lowered her head, and walked quickly past him without saying a word. Fang Ming withdrew his gaze, but did not stop walking. He was never one to indulge in romantic love, especially after learning that this world was ruled by a creator and governed by the law of the jungle. He had already set his own path. He didn't waste his 18 years of time-traveling life. Besides trying to find the system, he also memorized all the knowledge he could access. He knew everything by heart, from the history of Earth and the cultivation system of the Creator to the basic theories of world rules and the characteristics of extraterrestrial demons. The buildings on both sides of the street have different styles, some of them are floating crystal pavilions. Some are steel fortresses covered with mechanical gears, while others are engraved with ancient runes. These are cultural imprints left behind after the original worlds of different creators merged with Earth. Fang Ming walked along, his gaze calm, but in his mind he was quickly calculating the development path of my world. Back home, in an ordinary apartment in the old town, his parents were ordinary residents of Earth, who raised him on a meager income without the talent of an awakened creator. At this moment, his parents were still at the factory, and the house was empty. Fang Ming locked the door, sat cross-legged on the bed, and his mind instantly sank into the world of his destiny in his sea of consciousness. In a 10mx10mx10m cube space, oak logs and planks obtained from the decomposition of the oak tree are floating on the dirt blocks. To outsiders, this place was extremely barren, but in Fang Ming's eyes, it was an endless possibility. Let's start with basic resources, then test if the monster spawning rules still work. As soon as Fang Ming had a thought, the world in his sea of consciousness began to operate accordingly. He controls the world's excavation rules, breaking down the dirt blocks on the ground one by one. The dirt blocks float in the air like building blocks, piling up into small mounds. Immediately afterwards, he turned his gaze to the stone block at the edge of the world and swept his thoughts across it. The stone block shattered and turned into a round stone block. Soil, cobblestone, and oak are the 3 most basic resources in my world. The core of the basic block rules that Fang Ming possesses is digging, placing, and combining. These seemingly simple rules, under the absolute control of the Creator, can unleash incredible effects. In this world, he is the only god. The generation, decomposition, and combination of all blocks are all within his control. Instead of rushing to expand the land, he first synthesized all the oak logs obtained from the decomposition into oak planks. Under his mental control, the 4 planks instantly combined into a simple workbench. The appearance of the crafting table meant the unlocking of the crafting recipes. Fang Ming's consciousness swept across the crafting table, and the basic crafting recipes immediately appeared in his mind: wooden pickaxe, wooden axe, wooden sword, wooden shovel. Use a wooden pickaxe to dig up stones first, accumulate cobblestones, then make a furnace and torches. With a thought, Fang Ming conjured up a series of wooden pickaxes in front of his workbench. He then used these pickaxes to dig at the stone blocks in the corner of the world. The rate at which cobblestone blocks fell increased instantly, and in just a few minutes, he had accumulated over 100 cobblestone blocks. He then crafted a stone pickaxe and a stone axe from cobblestone and sticks, doubling his mining efficiency once again. He collected the dirt blocks, but the method of obtaining dirt is still uncertain, so he must cherish every dirt block. The remaining stones were used to pave a level ground for expansion, while the oak was made into planks, sticks, and simple boxes to store resources. In this world, the size of the landmass of one's destined world is not fixed. The creator can expand it by consuming the world's essence. Fang Ming's Minecraft, however, expands in a remarkably simple way by placing blocks. He extended the stone bricks towards the edge of the world, and with each brick he placed, the space of the world expanded outward by a fraction. A 10-meter by 10-meter piece of land, under his control, visibly transforms into 11 meters, 12 meters, 15 meters. In just 1 hour, the land expanded to a square of 50 meters, and the primordial energy within the world also slightly increased. What surprised Fang Ming even more was that, as the land expanded, the rules of the world seemed to be quietly evolving as well. Originally, there were only basic rules for digging, placing, and combining. Now, an additional rule for natural generation has been added. On the earthen blocks of the world, grass and flowers began to sprout spontaneously, and even next to the oak saplings he had deliberately placed, new oak trees began to grow slowly. Natural generation means that many of Minecraft's precious resources can be generated based on this rule. Fang Ming was overjoyed. This was a privilege he had never had when he played Minecraft in his previous life. As the creator, he could directly intervene in the evolution of the world's rules. He immediately placed a grass block every 3 blocks on the newly expanded cobblestone land, densely planting hundreds of oak saplings. After doing all that, he began to verify the most crucial step: monster generation. Chapter 3. As a veteran Minecraft player in his previous life, Fang Ming was extremely familiar with the monster spawning mechanics. He first took out all the oak planks stored in the storage box, and then used his mind to control the block to extend across the flat stone surface. The wooden planks are laid out in a straight line for 24 squares, then widened horizontally to 20 squares. A simple yet standard monster slaying platform was thus firmly established in his beloved world. After doing all this, Fang Ming did not use the origin of the world to accelerate the passage of time. The origin is the foundation for the growth of one's destined world, and every bit of it is precious. To use it on something as trivial as waiting for nightfall is, in his view, a pure waste. He decided to withdraw from his sea of consciousness, lean against the headboard, close his eyes and rest, sorting out his plans for the future development of the world while quietly waiting for night to fall. He knew in his heart that although his original world was only 10 meters square at the beginning, it looked like a very trashy wasteland. But the core potential of my world has never been about its size or the fancy innate laws. The infinite expansion of the block rules, the endless possibilities of the synthesis system, and the infinite refresh mechanism of monsters and creatures are what give this world the confidence to truly crush all other top-tier fantasy worlds. In the previous game, the blocky world that started from scratch could develop into a vast universe spanning the overworld, the nether, and the end, and could create world-destroying redstone devices, such as the Heavenly Dragon Slayer cannon and other structures. This world has now become his own destiny world, completely controlled by him, the creator, and its potential is immeasurable. Time ticked by, and the clocks of the real world tinkled. Fang Ming opened his eyes and looked at the digital watch on his wrist. As the hands precisely crossed the 18-minute mark, a strange movement suddenly came from his natal world within his sea of consciousness. As he rolled onto the ground, his mind instantly returned to normal, and he immersed himself in the world around him. The once bright sky darkened at a visible speed, the warm yellow light of the night rapidly swallowed up by the deep grey darkness. The light in the sky and earth diminished rapidly, and in just a few dozen seconds, the entire world was plunged into complete darkness. It seems exactly as I expected, the day-night cycle is completely synchronized with the game from my previous life. Fang Ming stood at the center of the world, his body faintly radiating a white light, a symbol of his absolute authority in his natal world. He looked up at the monster spawning platform he had built himself in the distance. The pitch-black night enveloped the entire area, and it was so quiet that not a sound could be heard. Just as night fell completely, a faint wisp of black mist suddenly appeared on the open ground in the center of the monster-slaying platform. The mist twisted and tumbled, as if something was condensing and taking shape within it. Fang Ming's breath hitched slightly, not from nervousness, but from anticipation. This is the first time a monster has spawned in my world, and it's a crucial step in verifying whether the complete rules of Minecraft are in effect. As long as monsters can spawn normally, it means that experience points, loot, and the entire combat system will be available. His world will completely shed its initial development label and rapidly enter the takeoff stage. The fog grew thicker and thicker, and a skeletal figure slowly formed within it. A skeletonized body, wielding a longbow, a pale, blocky form. Fang Ming recognized the figure at a glance. Skeleton white, the most basic ranged monster in the main world of Minecraft, and also the core source of arrows and bones in the early game. He showed no fear whatsoever, and instead strode towards the monster-slaying platform, an aura of supreme power emanating from him. If someone were to look at him right now, they would feel as if they were not looking at a person, but at an entire vast world. According to the rules of this innate world, all living beings born within it, regardless of their good or evil nature or strength, belong to the Creator, who can freely control the life and death of all beings within their innate world. Sure enough, Skeleton White just stood there quietly, its empty eye sockets devoid of any intelligence. He simply stood there, following the basic commands of the world, the rough wooden longbow hanging at his side, without making any movement to draw or aim. Fang Ming walked up to the skeleton, Little White, and gently touched the monster with his mind. Immediately, a piece of information flooded into his mind. Creature, skeleton, unintelligent. Level 1. Belongs to Creator Fang Ming. Drops, bones, arrows, chance to drop. Ability, ranged archery attack. The information was concise and clear, exactly as set in the game from my previous life. The only difference is that this skeleton now completely belongs to him and has become a part of his destiny world. It's better that it lacks intelligence, it makes it easier to control. Fang Ming thought to himself. If the monsters in this world possess independent intelligence, then as someone who is somewhat of a bioelectric player, it would be quite difficult for him to deal with them. But now they are merely primitive creatures that follow the rules, absolutely obedient to their creator, and are simply the most perfect resource-producing tools. With a thought, he gave the simplest command to the skeleton, move. The little white skull twitched slightly, and its stiff, blocky legs slowly rose. Following Fang Ming's will, it walked step by step from the monster-slaying platform to him, its movements stiff yet precise, completely obeying his commands. Fang Ming nodded in satisfaction, then his gaze swept over the other areas of the monster-slaying platform. Nighttime is the best time to spawn monsters. As long as the light is low enough, zombies, skeletons, creepers, and spiders will spawn continuously. These monsters not only provide experience points, but also drop various valuable resources. Instead of killing the skeleton immediately, he kept it with him for the time being and continued to observe the spawning of the monster spawning platform. Within minutes, several more plumes of black mist appeared on the monster hunting platform, and 3 figures materialized one after another. A rotting, staggering zombie, a pitch-black spider with 8 long legs, and a short, stout, green creeper. The 4 monsters stood silently on the platform, neither roaring nor attacking each other. They remained motionless in the darkness, like the most obedient puppets. Fang Ming's heart finally calmed down. The complete monster system of Minecraft was perfectly replicated in his favorite world. This means that he has an unlimited source of resources. Chapter 4. Fang Ming's gaze swept over the 4 monsters that had already taken shape on the monster-slaying platform. With a slight thought, an invisible will directly entered the consciousness of each monster. Under absolute world authority, these mindless native creatures would not have the slightest thought of resistance, they would only obediently follow his orders to kill each other. The next second, the zombie, which had been standing still, took the lead and charged towards the skeleton next to it with its rotting legs. The skeleton raised its bow and arrow, which automatically transformed into a wooden arrow and shot towards the spider with a whooshing sound. The 8-legged spider leaped into the air, its sharp claws slashing fiercely at the creeper. The once silent monster hunting platform was suddenly filled with the sounds of limbs colliding, bones cracking, and explosions. The loot dropped by various monsters fell to the ground as their bodies dissipated, piling up into a small heap. Rotten flesh, bones, arrows, spider silk, gunpowder. In a short time, they had accumulated several sets of basic combat supplies, each containing 3 wooden crates. With a thought, Fang Ming neatly categorized and stored all the supplies. Just as he was about to continue controlling the monster-killing process, a dense, deep purple mist suddenly surged from the center of the monster-killing platform. This time, the anomaly was far more intense than any previous monster-spawning phenomenon. The mist churned and contracted, and a hunched figure slowly materialized. He wore a pointed purple hat and a purple robe, and was surrounded by a faint medicinal fragrance. Witch! Fang Ming's eyes lit up instantly, and his heart skipped a beat. For Fang Ming, witches are an extremely important special resource in the early stages of Minecraft, and they are also the only creatures capable of producing potions on their own. Healing potions, strength potions, swiftness potions, fire resistance potions. Each potion, once acquired on Earth, is a rare treasure capable of directly enhancing the creator's combat power, assisting in the world's development, and even saving lives in critical moments. In this era where strength is determined by one's own destiny, the potion's value is enough to make ordinary creators fight tooth and nail for it. He immediately suppressed the unconscious aura of rules emanating from his body, and touched the witch with the gentlest of wills. A message clearly emerged. Biographies, witch, without intelligence. Level 3. Belongs to Creator Fang Ming. Ability, independently concocts various basic potions, limited by world rules. 1 bottle can be produced per hour. Drops, glass bottles, redstone dust, glowstone dust, various potion ingredients. Just as in the game, under the rules of his chosen world, the witch was completely reduced to his personal alchemy tool. Without the slightest hesitation, Fang Ming directly issued the core command to the witch. Prioritize crafting weakness potions, followed by strength potions, and then healing potions, continuously cycling through these potions. The witch's hunched body immediately began to move. Her hand, hidden beneath her black robe, slowly rose, and glass bottles, hellwort, gold nuggets, and other potion-making ingredients appeared out of thin air around her. A faint green light extended from the witch's hand and enveloped it, beginning a slow but steady refining process. Fang Ming silently sensed that the witch's potion-making speed was not particularly fast. A faint medicinal fragrance slowly spread out, confirming the production efficiency of 1 bottle per hour. Even though the speed is limited, this is a rare potion that can be produced indefinitely and at no cost. Once you have a large enough number of witches, it's like having unlimited potions. A single witch is enough to crush the vast majority of ordinary innate worlds on Earth. Fang Ming suppressed his elation and turned his gaze back to the monster hunting platform, his eyes becoming exceptionally focused. He had the witch in his grasp. Now, the most crucial step in his plan was waiting for the zombie villagers to spawn. Zombie villagers are a very special type of monster in Minecraft. They can be turned into normal villagers by using a potion of weakness and a golden apple. The villagers were the core of his development in his previous life playing Minecraft. The trading system, equipment upgrades, farm management, redstone technology integration, and so on, all rely on the villagers. It can be said that once he has villagers, his world will completely leap out of the initial stage of basic resource accumulation and directly enter the fast lane of civilization development. At this moment, the night in the main world continues, and the dark areas of the monster spawning platform maintain optimal monster spawning conditions. Zombies, skeletons, and spiders continue to spawn, fight, and drop resources. The green light beside the witch continued to flicker, and the first potion of weakness was slowly taking shape. Fang Ming sat cross-legged on the stone platform in the center of the world, his aura of rules contained, his mind focused on sensing every slight movement of the monster-slaying platform. He was waiting for that peculiar zombie figure, dressed in tattered villager clothes, to appear. As soon as the zombie villager spawns, his Minecraft will truly undergo its first qualitative change. Night flowed slowly through the game world, while half an hour quietly passed in the real world, and the black mist on the monster hunting platform continued to churn. Basic monsters spawned one after another and were ordered by Fang Ming to kill each other. The supplies in the storage box were already piled up like mountains. But the figure of the zombie villager he longed for never appeared. Just as Fang Ming frowned, intending to adjust the darkness coverage of the monster spawning platform, a sudden change occurred. At the edge of the monster-slaying platform, a cloud of extremely deep black mist suddenly exploded, with a few faint purple wisps of light mixed in with it. It was more mysterious and oppressive than the witch's purple mist. The mist rapidly condensed, and a tall, slender figure slowly emerged, 2 points of purple light shining within their eye sockets. Its body was entirely black, with dark purple patterns wrapped around it. Its limbs were slender yet full of explosive power. Apart from a pair of eyes that emitted a faint purple light, its head was just pure darkness. Enderman. Fang Ming was taken aback at first, then his eyes widened in surprise, his joy even greater than when he had met the witch, something he hadn't expected. In my past life in the game, Endermen could move blocks, but because they would attack on their own and couldn't be controlled, they were at best a somewhat troublesome neutral mob. It is almost useless for survival and development, and will even destroy the houses that have been painstakingly built. But this is Earth, and this world is Fang Ming's natal world, which he has complete control over. Under the absolute authority of creation, the Enderman's ability to teleport and move any block is unmatched by ordinary creatures. It is truly the best of the best. It's important to understand that he previously expanded the land entirely by manipulating the placement of blocks with his own thoughts. While this was quite efficient, it ultimately required mental effort and energy. Endermen are different, they are born with the ability to teleport and move blocks. Once an order is given, they can expand the world's continents tirelessly and without complaint, making them the ultimate tool tailor-made for world expansion. Fang Ming immediately touched the Enderman with his creative will, and exclusive information instantly flooded into his sea of consciousness. Creature, Enderman, unintelligent. Level, 4. Belongs to, Creator Fang Ming. Ability, teleportation, move any basic block without cost, without distance limitations. Dropped item, Ender Pearl, chance to drop. Chapter 5. Perfect. There are no restrictions on transporting it. Unable to contain his excitement, Fang Ming issued his first command to the Enderman without hesitation. Prioritize moving wooden planks eastward and southward towards the main continent to build an infinitely extending platform, while simultaneously widening the monster spawning platform and the current main continent. Upon receiving the command, the Enderman flashed with purple light and instantly teleported to the storage box, easily lifting up the oak planks with its long arms. It teleported again and appeared at the edge of the main continent. With a wave of its hand, the wooden block landed steadily without the slightest deviation. Then, it teleported back to the storage box to move it, moving so fast that only a series of purple shadows remained. While teleporting and placing blocks in a second isn't as efficient as Fang Ming placing multiple blocks in an instant, it's not far off. Fang Ming was very satisfied with the Enderman's speed. He immediately used all the oak logs and cobblestones he had stockpiled in the workbench to make planks and bricks, which he then piled up into small mountains. After entrusting the task of expanding the continent to the Enderman, Fang Ming withdrew from his natal world and rubbed his slightly swollen temples. Although he had been busy in the world of consciousness for a whole day and night, the clock in reality had only ticked by 50 minutes. Just then, the soft sound of a key turning came from outside the door, followed by the familiar footsteps of his parents. Today is the 18th birthday awakening ceremony. Factories and shops throughout the entire planet Blue Star have all stopped work half a day early, just so that families can reunite and await the results of their children's awakening. Xiao Ming, you're back. Tell your parents what kind of destiny world you've awakened. His mother, Lu Lan, hurried to greet him, her rough hands gripping his arm tightly, the fine lines around her eyes revealing her undisguised anticipation and trepidation. Father Fang Jiangguo also put down his repair tools, his honest face tense, and even his breathing became lighter. Seeing the sincerity in his parents' eyes, Fang Ming felt a warmth in his heart and didn't hide anything from them. The initial land was only 10 meters wide, it was an ordinary blocky world, without any extraordinary laws. He was prepared for his parents' disappointment, but their reaction was calmer than he had expected. His mother, instead of being surprised, patted his hand and smiled. Silly child, awakening as a creator is good enough. Your father and I never awakened in our entire lives, we remained ordinary people. You're already 100 times stronger than us. The father nodded emphatically, his voice hoarse but incredibly firm. Yes, the strength of the creator depends entirely on nurture. Take it slow, Dad believes in you. There was no disdain, no disappointment, only the most genuine trust. Fang Ming, who was an orphan in his past life, felt a sudden pang of sadness and smiled as he agreed. Dad, Mom, I promise I will make the world a better place so you can live a good life. The family sat around the small dining table, enjoying a simple meal of 3 dishes and a soup. The warm yellow light, filled with the aroma of cooking, soothed away all the anger from the previous day. After dinner, Fang Ming made an excuse to go back to his room to rest. He locked the door, sat cross-legged again, and his mind instantly sank into his personal world. As soon as he entered, he was startled by the sight before him and raised an eyebrow. In the time it takes to eat a meal, that Enderman, through teleportation, managed to expand the main continent from a square of 50 meters to 200 meters. The wooden avenues in the east and south directions extend straight, the monster spawning platforms have been widened 3 times, the area covered by darkness has expanded by nearly 1,000 square meters, and the monster spawning efficiency has doubled. Countless monsters spawned in the darkness, fought each other, and supplies piled up like small mountains, filling the original 3 storage boxes to overflowing. Fang Ming had no choice but to temporarily assemble more than a dozen new boxes to store all the rotten flesh, bones, and gunpowder. The green light beside the witch dissipated, and the first bottle of black potion of weakness floated silently in the air. Just as Fang Ming was checking the potion's properties, a peculiar grey-black mist suddenly appeared in the northwest corner of the monster farming platform. The mist condensed, and a tall, green zombie figure, draped in tattered burlap clothing, slowly took shape. The head was topped with the large nose unique to the villagers, and the body was decaying but still retained the outline of the villagers. Creature, zombie villager, unintelligent. Level, 2. Belongs to, Creator Fang Ming. Status, convertible. Conversion conditions, weakness potion and golden apple. It's here. Fang Ming was overjoyed, the zombie villagers he had been waiting for so long had finally respawned. However, there is still one problem, the source of the gold ingots used to synthesize the golden apple is currently unclear. Fang Ming had no choice but to take the zombie villagers to a makeshift wooden matchbox to wait until a gold mine was found before turning them into villagers. Meanwhile, the scene in the principal's office of Zhongcheng No. 3 Middle School was quite different. Li Hao listened to the old principal's advice not to be too arrogant, and outwardly bowed his head respectfully, but inwardly he was filled with disdain. Fang Ming's 10-meter square wasteland, even if given another 10 years, would still be comparable to his 1,000-meter-long Qi and Blood continent. The old headmaster, seeing the undisguised arrogance in his eyes, sighed softly, said nothing more, and simply pushed a jade bottle towards him. Here are 3 drops of vital energy, they can accelerate the condensation of the laws of your world. The reputation of No. 3 Middle School rests on your shoulders in the academy competition. Thank you for your guidance, Principal. Li Hao grabbed the jade bottle, trembling with excitement. Qi and blood essence are extremely rare cultivation resources in the martial arts world, and he had never seen such a treasure before. A moment later, Li Hao came out of the office. As soon as he stepped out, he pulled out his communicator and boasted to the person on the other end in an arrogant tone. Don't worry, I've obtained the principal's vital essence, I'm guaranteed a top 10 finish in the competition. Then, he sneered inwardly. As for Fang Ming, he better not run into me, or I'll eliminate him first and show everyone the difference between a genius and a good-for-nothing. On the other hand, Fang Ming was completely unaware of all this, but even if he did, he wouldn't care. He stood on the main continent, which was 300 meters square, watching the world expand rapidly and feeling the surge of the world's origin. He couldn't suppress the smile on his face. A 10-meter-tall initial world? The weakest creator in history? In the academy competition a month from now, he will let the entire Zhongcheng know what kind of heaven-defying power is hidden in this seemingly barren cube world. As for the extraterrestrial demons mentioned by the former principal, once he builds the nether portal, unlocks redstone technology, and the Ender Legion, let alone mere demons, even the overlords of the Chaos Sea will one day be nothing more than a roadside monster to be kicked to death. Chapter 6. As night deepened, the city outside the window fell into silence. Fang Ming's destined world has temporarily entered a period of stable development. Endermen tirelessly move blocks, witches continuously brew potions, and resources pile up like mountains on the mob spawning platform. However, the lack of gold mines prevented him from converting zombie villagers into normal villagers, and his development was temporarily stalled. Having experienced the awakening during the day, the frantic development at home, and a series of major events in the world, Fang Ming was already mentally exhausted. He withdrew from his consciousness, lay down on the bed, and soon fell into a deep sleep. In his dream, he saw himself standing in the center of an endless blocky universe, surrounded by the 3 vast planes of the overworld, the nether, and the end. Beneath my feet stretches a massive, blocky continent, while behind me lies an endless army of skeletons, zombies, witches, iron golems, the ender dragon, and the wither. Countless redstone cannons were aimed at the chaotic void. With a wave of his hand, he caused the world to be created and destroyed. With a thought, he reshaped the rules, becoming the supreme creator god of the entire universe. Ding ding ding! The piercing sound of the alarm clock abruptly shattered my dream. Fang Ming opened his eyes and saw that it was already bright outside the window. He savored the domineering aura he felt in his dream, which seemed to overlook all worlds, and a smile involuntarily crept onto his lips. Though dreams are illusory, the road ahead holds promise. He quickly finished washing up, and breakfast prepared by his parents early in the morning was already laid out on the table, simple yet heartwarming. Fang Ming finished his meal in a few bites, said goodbye to his parents, and then went out the door. Today he had a specific destination: the mineral market in the old town of Zhongcheng. Stepping out of the apartment building, the morning air was cool and damp. The shops along the street were dazzling, including apothecaries selling world-generated nutrients, training halls renting out primordial energy shielding arrays, and trading houses that specialized in buying and selling world-generated products. The place was bustling with activity, brimming with the unique energy of Earth. Fang Ming traveled along the road and soon arrived at the vast mineral market. The air was filled with the scent of earth, minerals, and a faint, primal aroma. Rows of stalls stood neatly arranged, displaying colorful ores. Some burned with faint flames, some floated in the air, and some flowed with liquid silver light. All of them were products mined from the natal worlds of the various creators. He didn't linger on the rare ores with extraordinary properties. His gaze swept across the entire area precisely, quickly locking onto his primary target, the gold mine. On Earth, gold is just a common basic mineral, containing no laws or power, and cannot directly improve the world's level. Therefore, it is cheap and almost no one wants it. Fang Ming walked straight to the stall and pointed to the mountain of gold nuggets. "I want all of these gold mines." The stall owner was taken aback for a moment, then quickly and enthusiastically packed the items up. 100 kilograms of gold ore is worth exactly 1,000 star coins, which is roughly equivalent to the RMB in Fang Ming's previous life, so it's not a burden for him now. After paying, Fang Ming bought several kilograms of fresh apples from the nearby fruit and vegetable stall, which were essential materials for synthesizing the golden apple. He wanted to look for more lava blocks to prepare for building a nether portal later, but after searching for a long time, he couldn't find any and had to give up for the time being. Having prepared everything, Fang Ming didn't linger and quickly headed home. As soon as he got back to his room, he locked the door, sat cross-legged, and looked on with great eagerness. With a thought, he instantly sank into his sea of consciousness, once again descending upon that rapidly growing blocky world. At this moment, his continent had already exceeded 600 meters, and the flat stone brick ground stretched as far as the eye could see. The monster spawning platform was vast and expansive, the scent of witches' potions filled the air, and Enderman, flashing with purple light, darted back and forth. The zombie villager, locked in a makeshift wooden hut, is quietly awaiting redemption. Fang Ming's lips curled up, revealing a confident smile. The gold mine is there, the apples are there, and the potion of weakness is almost finished. The next step is to convert the villagers and launch the trading system. His world, my world, has truly taken off, and this is just the beginning. With a thought, Fang Ming threw all the gold ore he had just purchased into the workbench, and amidst the shimmering golden light, gold ingots quickly took shape. Following the recipe he remembered from his previous life, he arranged 8 gold ingots around a bright red apple. A burst of dazzling golden light erupted, and a radiant golden apple floated silently in the center of the workbench. He turned and took out the weakening potion that the witch had concocted. The pale grey potion bottle gleamed with a faint, eerie light. He strode towards the simple wooden hut where the zombie villagers were imprisoned. Under absolute creative authority, no complicated procedures are required. Fang Ming merely raised his hand slightly, and 2 streams of thought flowed into the zombie villager's body. First, administer the debilitating medicine, then give the golden apple. The zombie villager let out a low groan, and its rotting body was instantly enveloped in a soft green light. The tattered linen clothes quickly became neat, and the dark green rotting flesh peeled away layer by layer, revealing fair, square-shaped skin. His signature large nose remained prominent, and his once cloudy and empty eyes gradually became clear and bright. Body, villager, unintelligent. Level, 1. Belongs to, Creator Fang Ming. Occupation, none. Blockable profession blocks, compost bin, farmer, forge, blacksmith, peddle, priest, etc. Now. With a slight movement of his fingertips, Fang Ming instantly conjured a wooden compost bin in front of the workbench. He placed the compost bin directly in front of the villager, issued the binding command, and a pale green light flashed and disappeared. A farmer's symbol resembling a hoe immediately appeared above the villagers' heads, and a wooden hoe appeared out of thin air in their hands, completely transforming them into dedicated farming villagers. Having resolved his career issue, Fang Ming immediately began planning his farmland. He divided all the dirt blocks he had stockpiled in his storage box in two, and moved one half to the east side of the continent, where he cleared out a large area of woodland and planted oak saplings, which were then cared for regularly by the Endermen. The other half, on the southern side of the mainland, was leveled into a soft, arable land about 100 meters square which served American Samoa the initial grain base. The box was already piled high with bone meal, all from the continuous drops of skeleton monsters. Fang Ming casually grabbed a handful and scattered them on the nearby grass blocks. A pale green, ripening light instantly spread, and large patches of green plants sprouted up. Picking off these plants would yield a large amount of wheat seeds. He didn't do it himself, he simply gave the farmers and villagers the most basic instructions: sow, harvest, and keep going. The farmers immediately picked up their wooden hoes and busied themselves tirelessly in the fields, digging holes, sowing seeds, and covering them with soil, their movements skillful and efficient. When the villagers' wheat matures, they can exchange it for emeralds with him. Even capitalists would be moved to tears. Fang Ming then sprinkled a large amount of bone meal, and with the blessing of the creation authority, the ripening effect of the bone meal was directly doubled. The newly planted wheat sprouted, headed, and matured at a visible speed, and in no time, golden waves of wheat covered the entire farmland. Chapter 7. 10 days passed in the blink of an eye as Fang Ming raced against time to develop. The world I belong to is no longer what it used to be. A square continent, 10,000 meters in size, lies across my sea of consciousness, with an endless expanse of stone-paved ground. The oak forests on the east side stretch endlessly, meticulously tended by the Endermen, and their timber resources are inexhaustible. The wheat fields on the south side have been harvested countless times, with dozens of farmers and villagers working day and night, and the wheat piled up like mountains. Emeralds have long since increased from single digits to overflowing chests and warehouses, and the trading system has been completely revitalized. For the past 10 days, Fang Ming has been guarding the monster hunting platform, which has expanded several times over. Not only did it spawn nearly 20 Endermen, forming a teleportation army, but it also captured a large number of zombie villagers, converting them all into free villagers. Once the number of villagers reached a certain level, he removed the restrictions and allowed them to reproduce freely. The number of villagers in the world has now exceeded 50, with professions such as blacksmith, priest, arrow maker, and librarian all present, forming a block village that is beginning to take shape. But just as the continent expanded to 10,000 meters, Fang Ming clearly felt an invisible barrier coming from the edge of the world. No matter how many blocks the Enderman moves, it cannot expand outwards even an inch. World level, Tier 1, upgradable. Advanced requirements, World Origin Max. The prompt for world advancement clearly appeared in Fang Ming's mind, and he frowned slightly. The old headmaster's warning still echoed in my ears: extraterrestrial demons are the nightmare of all newly ascended creators. He specifically logged onto the official website of the creator of Earth to check, and the data was shocking. When a world advances to the lowest tier, the demons it attracts are at least Tier 2, and some can even reach the peak of Tier 2. The difference in strength is like that between the Stone Age and the Iron Age. If the invasion succeeds, the world will be torn apart, and the creator will perish. Pay a high-level creator to shield your aura? Putting aside the fact that the price is too high for him to afford at present, given the incredible potential of his block world, once exposed to the top creator, it might actually attract covetousness. Wasting time waiting for the right opportunity? Even less likely. 10 days may be insignificant to others, but for Fang Ming, who has mastered the MC infinite loop system, each day means exponential growth. Waiting even one more day would be a waste of our incredible advantage. Since we can't avoid it, we might as well run it over head-on. A sharp glint flashed in Fang Ming's eyes, his plan was already finalized. It's time to truly develop your own block-based combat power. His two core combat forces, which he has identified at this stage, are crystal clear. First, the Iron Golem. As the natural guardians of villages in Minecraft, Iron Golems are tough and strong, capable of instantly killing ordinary monsters with a single punch. They are the main force in defense and counterattack, and the frontline bulwark against evil spirits. Second, the Enderman Legion. Nearly 20 Endermen, who possess the ability to teleport and move blocks without cost, are not only tools for expanding the continent, but also the most mysterious and unpredictable force. They can instantly appear behind demons to launch surprise attacks, and they can move blocks to build defensive fortifications. It can even drag demons directly into the void at the edge of the world. Its mobility and destructive power far surpass any creature of the same level in this era. Third, there's Skeleton White. This is the only ranged unit he currently has available. Fang Ming stood on a high platform in the center of the village, looking down at the thriving block world below, his thoughts spreading throughout the world like thunder. Enderman Legion, cease movement and enter combat standby mode. Which, concentrate your efforts on concocting power potions and healing potions to supply the combat units. With each command issued, the innate world instantly began operating at high speed. His next step was to build an iron farming machine, but not the kind that required killing iron golems, it would simply involve endlessly farming iron golems. After determining the core combat force direction, Fang Ming immediately set about building a fully automated, unlimited iron farming machine. With the help of his mastery of MC electricity generation skills from his previous life, coupled with the absolute authority of the creator, he was able to achieve his goal. Using only the hatred mechanism between villagers and zombies, a highly efficient and stable iron farming platform was quickly constructed on the west side of the village. He gathered dozens of villagers in a closed, cube-shaped space, and then specially brought in several zombies from a monster spawning platform, suspending them within the villagers' line of sight. The fear level spiked instantly, fully triggering the Iron Golem's respawn mechanism. One after another, Iron Golems, their bodies cast in iron and their eyes burning crimson, materialized in the center of the platform. The heavy thuds as they landed echoed one after another, causing the ground to tremble slightly. Fang Ming did not lose a single soldier throughout the entire process, nor did he need to dismantle the iron golems to obtain iron ingots. He simply allowed them to continuously generate, line up, and wait for orders. In just 2 days, the iron brushing machine produced more than 200 iron golems, which lined up in a dark battle formation. Its steel body gleamed with a unique metallic chill under the sunlight, exuding an overwhelming sense of oppression simply by standing there, enough to directly confront any demonic legion of the same level that he had seen online. While constructing the battle formation, Fang Ming unexpectedly discovered a surprise that could potentially overturn the course of the battle. Under the forceful intervention of his creative authority, Endermen were able to wear equipment. This was something that was impossible in the game of my previous life, but now, under the rules of my current world, it has become a reality. By this time, the number of Endermen had already surged from the initial 20 to a full 30, each possessing the ability to teleport and move blocks, making them the most mobile combat force. Without the slightest hesitation, Fang Ming directly transferred a massive amount of emeralds from his overflowing inventory and frantically exchanged them with the blacksmith villagers for diamond armor, diamond boots, and iron armor. Emeralds were already cheaper to him than wood, and he didn't hesitate to supply them freely. Unfortunately, enchanted diamond equipment is extremely rare, and the librarian villagers' exchange slots have a daily limit. He exhausted all his efforts and only managed to obtain 3 sets of enchanted diamond armor, with the rare attributes of Protection 3, Durability 3, and Mending I. The remaining 5 Endermen were equipped with a full set of ordinary diamond gear. The other 20 or so Endermen were all dressed in sturdy iron armor. As for the weapons, they are not enchanted yet, the 8 diamond swords are all iron swords. The fully armed Enderman army's combat power is off the charts. Its jet black body is adorned with shimmering diamond equipment, coupled with the ability to teleport. They are no longer the tool creatures that only knew how to move blocks, but have become shadow warriors who are good at fighting. Fang Ming stood at the front of the battle formation, his palm gently brushing against the cold, hard diamond armor on the shoulder of an Enderman. Feeling the surge in combat power of his legion, the last trace of worry in his heart vanished. 200 iron golems formed an iron wall, behind which stretched an endless army of skeletons. The remaining 30 armed Endermen transformed into shadow blades, the witch army continuously brewed buff potions, and the village system stably supplied unlimited resources. Everything is ready. Fang Ming sensed the world barrier within the world that he could break through at any time. Without hesitation, he activated all the rules within the world and began to forcibly expand outward. Chapter 8. Rumble. The entire blocky world trembled violently, the 10,000-meter continent roared under the strain, and the once indestructible spatial barrier shattered like glass. Fang Ming stood on the towering stone command platform at the center of the world, his primordial power fully activated, white light enveloping the entire world. He clearly sensed that the invisible shackles binding the continent's expansion were completely collapsing. The origin of the world surged wildly like a rushing river, and the path to advancement to the next level has been opened. But at the same time, an extremely cold, decaying, and destructive aura, like a flood bursting its banks, surged wildly into the spatial rift created by the advancement. It instantly filled the entire sky above the blocky world. The sky was tinged with a depressing dark gray, and the original rules of day and night were forcibly distorted. A black, unidentified mist drifted through the air, and wherever it passed, wisps of corrosive white smoke began to rise from the hard stone brick ground. At this moment, outside the blocky world, on the edge of the Chaos Sea, a dilapidated western fantasy continent shrouded in eternal grey mist suddenly trembled. This continent has long been thoroughly corrupted by demons, and countless twisted creatures roam among the ruins. A Templar knight clad in heavy armor yet his body rots away, a necromancer wielding a staff, his eyes rimmed black, a dragon with shattered wings and oozing pus, a berserk orc with bared fangs. All the creatures had hollow, black eye sockets, exuding an ominous, inky aura, their bodies were entangled in twisted patterns, and only the most primal instinct for killing remained. In the instant the space trembled, all the demonic creatures simultaneously raised their heads and roared, their sharp, piercing howls echoing across the entire desolate continent. Like hungry wolves that have smelled blood, they charged madly toward the node where the spatial fluctuations were most intense. They're here. Fang Ming stood atop the pre-built multi-layered defensive fortifications, his gaze coldly fixed on the expanding black spatial rift to the northwest. From within the crack, a foul-smelling grey mist gushed forth, the first to emerge being a Templar knight clad in black armor, with black mist constantly emanating from his eye sockets. He strode in with heavy steps, and the moment he landed, the stone bricks on the ground were corroded with countless pits by the black mist emanating from his body. Following closely behind, one after another, demonic creatures poured out. The necromancer's withered fingers gathered dark, destructive magic, while a rotting dragon flapped its festering wings and hovered low in the air. Twisted orcs charged forward wielding giant axes covered in barbs, and even enormous, tentacled creatures slowly crawled out of the cracks. Looking around, the dark army of demons numbered in the thousands. Fang Ming's expression was solemn. In his perception, the weakest among them were all second-tier demons. The leading dragon and the unidentified tentacle monster had reached the peak of the second tier, their auras overwhelming all the lower-tier creatures present. But so what? A slow smile appeared on Fang Ming's face, his will resounding like thunder throughout the world. Iron Golem Legion, front line. Skeleton archers, unleash a volley from a distance. Enderman army, flank and attack. which, buff everyone with power potion, regeneration potion, and invisibility potion. As soon as the command was given, the block army, which had been poised to attack, moved instantly. 200 iron golems, each over 2.5 meters tall, marched with heavy steps, forming a steel wall at the forefront of the defensive fortifications. His thick arms were clenched into fists, and his scarlet eyes were fixed on the charging demon army. He exuded an indestructible aura and became the most solid bulwark on the front line. Behind them, thousands of skeleton archers raised their wooden longbows in unison, the arrows gleaming coldly in the dim light of the day. At Fang Ming's command, a dense barrage of arrows rained down like a torrential downpour, instantly covering the demon's charging formation. Pft! Pft! The sound of arrows piercing through demonic bodies was incessant. The Orcish demon at the forefront was instantly riddled with arrows, black blood gushing out, and its body crashed to the ground. But the demon's vitality was extremely tenacious. Even after being shot by an arrow, it continued to charge madly, its dark eye sockets seemingly filled only with destruction. Roar! The leading demonic dragon roared to the sky, spewing out a mouthful of black, corrosive dragon breath that hurtled towards the iron golem array. Enderman, attack! With a thought, Fang Ming sent 30 fully armed Endermen flashing with purple light, which instantly vanished from their spot. The next second, 3 Endermen clad in enchanted diamond armor teleport directly to the top of the giant dragon's head, and their diamond swords slashed down with a sharp whistling sound. Another 20 or so iron-clad Endermen instantly appeared on the flank of the demon army, and with a wave of their hands, stone bricks weighing 1 or 2 tons were smashed down, forcefully blocking the demon's retreat. The dragon, in pain, thrashed about, its claws flailing wildly but unable to catch the Enderman, who was adept at teleportation. Meanwhile, the witch army hurled bottles of yellow, blue, and pink potions at the iron golem. The iron golem, empowered by the dragon's breath, charged forward with incredible speed and power. Bang! The lead iron golem slammed its fist into the black armor of the demonic Templar Knight, shattering the heavy armor and body together. Black flesh and blood splattered in all directions, and a shockwave surged forth. 200 iron golems charged simultaneously, sweeping across the battlefield like a torrent of steel. The roars of demons and the sounds of flesh tearing apart mingled together, echoing throughout the entire battlefield. A necromancer with black eye sockets raised his hand and conjured a huge black magic orb, intending to launch a sneak attack and shatter the iron golem array. However, it was instantly attacked by 2 Endermen who teleported together, and the diamond sword directly chopped off its head, causing the spell to collapse on the spot. The peak second-tier tentacle monster swung its tentacles, sweeping away several iron golems. Before it could continue its rampage, more than a dozen Endermen teleported over simultaneously, grabbed it, and quickly teleported it into the sky. After reaching a height of over 1,000 meters, it was dropped. Boom! This unidentified tentacle creature, at the peak of the second tier, was smashed into a puddle of unidentified liquid. Fang Ming stood atop the command platform, like a supreme god, coldly controlling the entire war. He watched the iron golems fight valiantly, watched the skulls rain down arrows, and watched the Endermen traverse the battlefield, reaping the rewards. Watching the witch's healing potions continuously heal the injured iron golem, which seemed like an unkillable cockroach, the smile on her lips grew wider and wider. This is his destined world, and my world. The progress made in just over 10 days is comparable to what an ordinary creator would achieve in months or even years. There are no fancy rules, but there are endless combinations, endless creatures, and endless possibilities. The number of demons is decreasing rapidly across the population, and their originally surging momentum has been completely contained. The number of demons emerging from the spatial rift dwindled until only a few scattered remnants remained, trembling under the iron golem's fists. The second-tier peak demonic dragon was covered in sword wounds, its wings were shattered, and it no longer had its previous arrogance. It tried to turn back and escape into the spatial rift, but was surrounded by 30 Endermen. It's over. Chapter 9. Fang Ming spoke softly, his hand slowly rising and falling. The iron golems swarmed forward, their fists raining down like a storm, sending savage, bloody flesh flying everywhere. The skeleton archers aimed at the dragon's head, and arrows rained down like a storm. The Endermen simultaneously swung their swords, the diamond swords shattering the dragon's scales. The witch poured out her deadly poison. Roar! After a deafening roar, the massive body of the demonic dragon crashed to the ground. The pitch-black demonic energy quickly dissipated, leaving behind only a pile of pitch-black dragon scales and a crystal core containing pure demonic essence, suspended in the air. In just 10 minutes, the invading army of thousands of demons was completely wiped out. The grey fog in the air gradually dissipated, and the sky returned to the bright light unique to the blocky world. The corroded stone bricks were rapidly repaired under Fang Ming's will, and the battlefield debris was automatically cleared away. The iron golems lined up and returned to their positions, while the Endermen, flashing purple light, returned to their ranks. The skeleton archers neatly sheathed their bows, and the witches returned to their posts to continue brewing potions, as if the earth-shattering battle that had just taken place had never happened. After clearing the battlefield, Fang Ming's gaze fell on the spatial rift that was slowly shrinking and closing. With a slight thought, he controlled an iron golem to slowly step forward and tentatively enter the edge of the crack. But just as the iron golem's body had penetrated halfway in, the crack, which still retained traces of demonic energy, suddenly closed. With a crisp crack, the iron golem was instantly crushed into dust by the spatial power, and its mental connection with Fang Ming was also severed in an instant. Fang Ming's eyes narrowed slightly, and he stopped probing. The Chaos Sea is connected to each of the natal worlds, containing both boundless opportunities and deadly dangers. With his current strength, he is far from qualified to delve deeper into it. Although I'm curious about what the other world looks like, the priority right now is to build my own blocky continent into a true impregnable fortress. He looked down at the spoils scattered on the ground. Thousands of orc-like demons were wiped out, leaving behind only a pile of tattered black armor and rusted weapons for the ordinary demons. Fang Ming didn't even bother to look at them, and simply had the Endermen pack them all up and throw them into the void to destroy them. The truly valuable pieces are 2 deep purple crystals that exude rich, pure energy. Item: Demonic Essence Crystal Core. Level: Peak Tier 2. Note: this item is formed from the core of a chaotic demon that has reached the 3rd tier life form. It contains the essence of a raging world and can be used for world advancement, equipment enhancement, and special synthesis. Nice one! Fang Ming clenched his fist and put away the 2 crystal cores. This item isn't of immediate use to him, but keeping it will surely come in handy in the future. After dealing with the spoils, he finally immersed himself in the advanced world. World advancement successful. Current level, Tier 2. Current land range, 10 km, maximum range, 100 km. World rules, basic block rules, evolution, allows crafting of higher tier equipment and unlocks nether portal access. World resources, added gold ore, iron ore, diamond ore, redstone ore. Lines of information appeared clearly in his mind, and Fang Ming's gaze was fixed on the last line, his heart pounding uncontrollably. Diamond mine. Redstone mine. For other primordial worlds, advancement simply means an increase in the upper limit of the level of living beings, but for him, this was the true gift of a 2nd-tier world. Diamonds represent the highest grade equipment material in the Minecraft world at this stage. Diamond armor, diamond sword, diamond pickaxe. Even with villager trading, the efficiency is still too slow. With diamond mines now available, both combat capabilities and mining efficiency can achieve a qualitative leap. And redstone. An unprecedentedly intense light erupted from Fang Ming's eyes. As a veteran Minecraft player from his previous life, he knew better than anyone what redstone represented. Its circuitry. Its technology. It's automation. It's the ultimate power that surpasses the comprehension of all creators of this era. With redstone, he no longer needed to rely on Endermen working tirelessly to move blocks and expand the continent. The villagers no longer need to cultivate the land manually, which is still inefficient. Fully automatic paving machine, fully automatic farm, fully automatic stone brushing machine, fully automatic tree farm. The world will leap directly from the era of manual labor into the era of industry. First, look for minerals. Fang Ming suppressed his excitement and unleashed his full power of creation, sweeping across the entire 100,000 meter square continent like a radar. In the advanced world, the underground structure is completely perfected. He easily sensed a faint, pale red glow emanating from the newly formed mountain on the eastern side of the continent that was a redstone vein. Deep underground to the south, there are several pale blue spots of light diamond mines. Found it! Fang Ming took a step forward, and his figure instantly teleported into the mountain where the redstone vein was located. The dense red ore veins are embedded in the stone bricks like red veins. At a glance, the entire vein stretches for hundreds of meters and has an astonishing reserve. Redstone ore, mineable, renewable. Uses: crafting redstone torches, redstone repeaters, redstone comparators, and various mechanical cores. Enderman army, all of you, come here. A flash of purple light, and 30 fully armed Endermen instantly appeared in formation. Mined this entire redstone mine, not a single piece was to be missed, and transported all of it back to the central storage area. With no response, the Enderman immediately sprang into action. Teleportation, digging, and transporting all done in one smooth motion. Bright redstone dust piled up into small mountains, far more efficient than any pickaxe. Fang Ming then turned around and went deep underground to where the diamond mine was located. The pale blue diamond deposits are embedded in the hard rock, emitting specks of blue light. Although their reserves are not as abundant as those of red quartz, they are more concentrated in one area. Begin mining. With the command given, the Endermen resumed their work. One by one, sparkling diamonds were unearthed, radiating a mesmerizing luster on the ground. In just half an hour, redstone, diamonds, iron ore, and gold ore have all been mined, and the chests in the central storage area are now completely full. With the resources in place, Fang Ming didn't hesitate for a moment and immediately rushed to the workbench. Let's build the basic redstone components first. Redstone torch, redstone repeater, redstone dust, piston, sticky piston, detector, hopper. Redstone basic components were rapidly formed in the crafting table, with pale red energy flowing between the blocks, outlining technological patterns never before seen in this universe. The first target, a fully automated road paving machine. In the past, expanding the continent relied entirely on his mental manipulation or Enderman transporting materials, which was inefficient. With a paving machine made of redstone, pistons, and detectors, as long as enough blocks are placed in it, the machine will automatically extend forward, working tirelessly and without stopping. Chapter 10. Fang Ming selected a location on the edge of the continent and, relying on his previous life's expertise in building with electricity, quickly constructed the structure. The piston pushes, the detector signal is triggered, and the redstone circuit conducts. A small machine, no more than a few meters long and wide, quickly took shape. Fang Ming threw a large number of stone bricks into the machine's storage hopper and gently activated the redstone torch. Buzz! The machine began to vibrate slightly. The detector detected an open space ahead, and the piston pushed forward instantly, causing a stone brick to land steadily. Then, the machine automatically moves forward one space and repeats the operation. 1 piece, 2 pieces, 3 pieces. The smooth stone-paved road stretches straight ahead at a visible speed, like a long dragon rapidly advancing towards the edge of the world. It's done. Fang Ming's lips curled into a smile. He then built a dozen more. From then on, the expansion of the mainland no longer required his attention, fully automated machines handled everything. Having solved the road paving problem, he immediately rushed to the farmland area. Dozens of farmers and villagers are still working and harvesting in the fields. Fang Ming took direct action, using redstone, funnels, buckets, and pistons to build a fully automated farm. Automatic water-based tilling, automatic bone meal ripening, automatic funnel collection, and automatic box storage. Once the system is running, golden wheat falls continuously into the box without any villagers needing to watch over it. From now on, you won't need to farm anymore. Fang Ming waved away the group of farmers and villagers. These valuable workers should be doing more important things. Propagate, upgrade your profession, exchange for high-level enchantment books, and cultivate rarer trade items. Automated road construction, automated farming. In just 1 hour, Fang Ming's world completely broke free from the era of human labor. Endermen are freed from manual labor and can focus on combat and special transport. And he, the creator, stood beside the rapidly extending stone-paved road, looking up into the distance. The world's maximum range is 100 kilometers, and only 1/10 of that has been explored so far. The more the land expands, the better, as this will generate more minerals and some common creatures that haven't appeared yet. Fang Ming was also puzzled by this. Logically, cattle and sheep should have been refreshed by now, but he hadn't seen a single Minecraft animal yet. But that's not important for now. What's next is the most important thing. The Nether is a crucial plane in the Minecraft world, containing core resources such as blaze rods, quartz, nether wart, and magma cream. All of these must be obtained from the lower realms, and this is a crucial part of later development. The key to opening a nether portal is lava and water. His world has just advanced to the second stage, and no lava lakes have yet formed underground, so he can only obtain them from the outside. Fang Ming immediately exited his natal world, took out a sci-fi style communicator, and logged into the largest local resource trading forum. He rapidly tapped the screen, posting a purchase request. We are offering high prices to buy magma as quickly as possible. Offline transactions are acceptable. Magma isn't a rare resource on Earth, but nobody goes out of their way to collect it, so Fang Ming had no choice but to try his luck. Unexpectedly, the communicator started vibrating just minutes after the information was released. A Zhongcheng local account with a profile picture featuring flame patterns sent me a private message. I have lava, 500 star coins per cubic meter. How much do you want? Fang Ming replied quickly. Minimum order is 10 cubic meters. Can you deliver immediately? The other party replied very quickly. 10 cubic meters is fine, but you have to come pick it up yourself at 6 p.m. tonight, next to the fountain in the central square of Jiangcheng's old town. If you dare to come, we'll make the deal. 1 cubic meter costs 500 star coins, so 10 cubic meters would cost 5,000 star coins. For Fang Ming now, that's not an exorbitant price, but it's definitely not cheap either. However, he has no worries about money now, he can easily make a fortune by selling potions made by witches. The nether portal must be built as soon as possible, every minute of delay is a waste of our developmental advantage. Okay, I'll be there at 6 o'clock sharp. After finalizing the deal, Fang Ming had just put down his communicator when an overwhelming sense of exhaustion washed over him like a tidal wave. Previously, he commanded iron golems, endermen, and skeleton legions in a great battle against thousands of second-tier demons. The entire process required intense mental focus, with constant awareness and control, coupled with post-war world restoration, resource management, and the construction of redstone machinery. A series of high-intensity operations had already drained his energy. My mind felt slightly swollen, and my eyelids felt as heavy as if they were filled with lead. Fang Ming didn't even have time to glance at the development of his destined world before collapsing onto the bed and falling into a deep sleep without even covering himself with a blanket. Even breathing soon filled the room, and the tension and fatigue of the past few days slowly faded away as she slept. The sunlight outside the window gradually slanted westward, slipping towards dusk. There were less than 3 hours left until the offline transaction at 6 o'clock. Fang Ming slept exceptionally soundly. When he opened his eyes again, the sky outside the window was already tinged with a warm orange glow of dusk. He rubbed his throbbing temples, quickly got up, tidied his clothes, and then quietly pushed open the door. His parents were still watching TV in the living room. When they saw him about to leave, they simply told him to be careful and didn't ask any further questions. Stepping out of the old residential building, the evening breeze, carrying a cool and damp feel, swept over me, dispelling the last trace of drowsiness. Fang Ming looked up at the sky. There were still a dozen minutes until 6 o'clock, plenty of time. He walked briskly along the familiar old street, where fully automated paving machines continued to extend day and night in his familiar world. The redstone circuits were running smoothly, and more than a dozen stone-paved roads, like long grey dragons, were advancing wildly toward the world's 100-kilometer border. The villagers multiplied freely in the village, the witch continuously brewed potions, and patrols composed of iron golems inspected along specific routes. Everything was developing in the most perfect direction. Once he obtains the lava and builds the nether portal, his world will undergo another qualitative change. Before long, the central square of the old town of Zhongcheng came into view. The fountain in the center of the square was spraying water, and several passers-by were sitting around it enjoying the cool air. Fang Ming immediately identified the agreed-upon trading partner. A man wearing a black hoodie, with the brim pulled low, was hidden in the shadows, his features obscured. Fang Ming walked over calmly, lowering his voice. "I'm here to trade lava." The man in the hoodie looked up, revealing a pair of slightly cloudy eyes, and sized Fang Ming up and down several times. His gaze held a mixture of scrutiny and curiosity, as if he were looking at some rare object. After pausing for a few seconds, the man slowly nodded, took out a small cloth bag from behind him, and the bag emitted a faint warmth. "This storage bag will cost extra." Fang Ming realized that the other party's world might be a cultivation civilization. "Okay, tell me the price." Chapter 11. "I'll give you a discount for your first transaction. The storage bag is 200 Singapore dollars. Fang Ming nodded without haggling, and handed over 5 brand new 1,000 yuan star coin cards, settling the bill along with the 200 star coins from the storage bag in a clean and efficient manner. "Take inventory." The hooded man quickly scanned the denominations of the star coins, and after confirming that everything was correct, he stuffed the scalding hot storage bag into Fang Ming's hand. The muffled sound of rolling lava could be faintly heard from inside the bag, and the scorching heat could be clearly felt even through the fabric. "The goods are absolutely fine, 10 cubic meters of lava, not a single bit less." After speaking, the man turned and disappeared into the crowd in the square, vanishing without a trace. Fang Ming had already checked the storage bag when he first touched it, and there were indeed no problems. Fang Ming gripped the storage bag tightly, a steady warmth emanated from his fingertips, and the weight that had been hanging over him finally lifted. The final piece of the nether portal puzzle is finally complete. He didn't linger any longer, turned around and quickly walked back towards the apartments in the old town, his steps so light they almost seemed to float. Once he returns home, sets up a portal, and steps into the lower realm, his world will once again undergo a leapfrog evolution. But as soon as we turned into a quiet alley, the evening breeze suddenly stopped. 2 familiar figures were walking towards us from the alley entrance. The man on the left is tall and imposing, with bulging muscles that accentuate his physique. It is Li Hao. Beside him stood a pretty girl with delicate features and gentle eyes. She was none other than Lin Qingxiu, the class beauty who had pursued him for 3 years. She lowered her eyes, her long eyelashes trembled uneasily, and her hands gripped the hem of her dress tightly. The moment she saw Fang Ming, her cheeks flushed bright red, and she instinctively shrank behind Li Hao, wishing she could hide herself. Fang Ming paused, his gaze calm, as if he had only seen 2 stones blocking his path. Li Hao's eyes lit up, like a starving wild dog smelling fresh history. He immediately strode forward, spread his arms, and blocked Fang Ming's path in the middle of the alley. He deliberately turned to the side and forcefully pulled Lin Qingxiu, who was hiding behind him, to the front. The force was so great that Lin Qingxiu staggered, turning her head away in embarrassment, unable to meet Fang Ming's gaze. "Hey, isn't this the most useless creator in the history of Zhongcheng No. 3 Middle School?" Li Hao crossed his arms, raised his chin high, and his tone was undisguisedly sarcastic, aimed directly at Fang Ming. "An initial 10 meters of wasteland, without even transcendent laws, and you still have the nerve to show your face in public? I thought you were hiding at home, too ashamed to show your face." Lin Qingxiu's head drooped even lower, her ears were so red they looked like they were about to bleed, and she stood there helplessly. Fang Ming remained expressionless, his gaze indifferently fixed on Li Hao, as if he were looking at a clown jumping around, trying to attract attention. There was no anger, no embarrassment, not even the slightest ripple. This indifference was like a needle, piercing Li Hao's most sensitive pride. The smile on his face froze instantly, and a fierce rage surged uncontrollably in his eyes. He suddenly took a big step forward, almost touching Fang Ming. His eyes were bloodshot, staring intently at Fang Ming as if he wanted to devour him alive. "Fang Ming, do you know what I hate most? It's that smug, nonchalant face you wear no matter what happens." Li Hao's voice was extremely low, filled with jealousy and twisted emotions suppressed for 18 years, each word striking the alleyway with deliberate force. "Why? Why is it that your family is worse off than mine, yet you've always been better than me at everything since childhood? You're always number 1 in your class, teachers praise you, elders dote on you, everyone revolves around you. My parents compare you to me every day, saying I'll never catch up to you in my entire life. Even Lin Qingxiu, whom I've had a crush on for 3 years, only has eyes for you, yet you don't even glance at her." Finally, he turned his head sharply and glared fiercely at Lin Qingxiu beside him. His gaze was incredibly fierce, which frightened Lin Qingxiu so much that she trembled all over, and tears welled up in her eyes. After venting his pent-up resentment over the years, a smug yet malicious smile slowly crept onto Li Hao's face. He looked at Fang Ming again, his eyes filled with the arrogance of a victor. "But now it's all right. It proves that trash is trash after all. What's the use of being a good student? In this era where strength is determined by the world, your broken blocky world is nothing but garbage." After saying that, he stared intently at Fang Ming's face, like a beast waiting for its prey to make a mistake. She longed to see anger, humiliation, or resentment in Fang Ming's eyes. Any emotion would do, as long as it could break this damned calm. But the next second, Fang Ming suddenly burst out laughing. The laughter was soft, yet it was like a sharp knife, instantly piercing through all of Li Hao's pretense and smugness. Li Hao froze on the spot, his smile frozen in place, as if he hadn't reacted yet. "Why are you laughing?" A few seconds later, he suddenly came to his senses, his mind instantly clouded by rage, and he roared furiously. "Fang Ming, what exactly do you mean?" Fang Ming managed to keep his expression straight, and his eyes, when he looked at Li Hao, now held an undisguised pity. "I laugh at you, you've lived 18 years, always in my shadow." Fang Ming's voice was calm, yet every word was piercing. "The grades I don't even consider, you're desperately trying to get. Someone I don't care about, you hold on to like a treasure. Everything you've achieved is just to catch up with me, to surpass me, but you've even forgotten the meaning of your own existence. Don't you find that ridiculous?" Li Hao's face instantly turned a deep liver color, and veins bulged on his forehead. His hands were clenched so tightly that his knuckles turned white, and he trembled with anger, the ferocity in his eyes almost overflowing. "The more smug you are now, the more it proves you want to be like me." Fang Ming slowly stepped forward, the two of them less than half a meter apart. He looked down at the seemingly insane Li Hao, his tone tinged with amusement. You look truly pathetic right now. I'll kill you. Enraged, Li Hao let out a beast-like roar, his clenched fist whistling through the air as it slammed towards Fang Ming's face. This punch contained all the jealousy, humiliation, and resentment he had accumulated over the past 18 years. He believed it was enough to severely injure Fang Ming, whose physical condition had always been average. Lin Qingxiu screamed in fright, closed her eyes, and dared not watch what was about to happen. Fang Ming remained standing still, motionless, a faint white light slowly emanating from his eyes. The next second. Boom! 4 cold, round stones, each a meter square, appeared without warning. Like a sturdy stone cage, it instantly enveloped Li Hao completely. Only his head was visible, his limbs were firmly bound, and he couldn't move even a finger. The hard stone surface was cold and heavy. No matter how Li Hao rammed, roared, or struggled, it remained unmoved and did not even show a crack. Chapter 12. Li Hao was completely stunned. His pupils contracted sharply, and the rage on his face was instantly replaced by extreme shock. This is the materialization of the world's rules. How could you possibly advance to the second tier so quickly? He roared like a madman, his voice filled with disbelief and panic. A normal creator would be considered a genius if he could stabilize the world within 10 days of awakening. He relied on the life essence bestowed upon him by the principal, and even with all his might, he couldn't break through. Yet, he was already the envy of the entire school. And Fang Ming, from a wasteland world that started at 10 meters, actually broke through. It can even directly materialize the rules of this world into the real world. Fang Ming looked at Li Hao, who was struggling futilely in the gabion, his face contorted in pain, and gently shook his head, his tone as calm as a deep pool of water. The rule of law in our society saved your life. After saying that, he didn't look at Li Hao again. Instead, his gaze shifted slightly and landed on Lin Qingxiu, who was already stiff with fear and pale-faced. The girl was trembling all over, her eyes filled with terror and confusion. She looked at Fang Ming as if he were a complete stranger. Fang Ming didn't say anything, but simply withdrew his gaze, gripped the storage bag containing the lava in his hand, turned around, and strode straight through the narrow alley. His back was straight, his steps were unhurried, and he didn't stop for a moment. Only Li Hao, trapped in the gabion and screaming madly, remained behind him. Fang Ming turned and left, completely ignoring the hysterical Li Hao and the helpless Lin Qingxiu behind him. To him, these two were nothing more than insignificant specks on his path to power. He was currently in a hurry to open the portal to the lower realm. He hurried home, locked the door, and after confirming that no one would disturb him, his mind instantly sank into his personal world. The main continent is no longer what it used to be. More than a dozen fully automatic redstone pavers roar and extend day and night. The stone-paved road, like a long dragon, rapidly advances towards the million-meter boundary. The Iron Golem Legion's patrol formations have expanded to over 1,000, only by standing before these steel giants can one truly feel their immense oppressive power. Without delay, Fang Ming went straight to a flat, rocky open space in the center of the continent. With a thought, he released all 10 cubic meters of magma from his storage bag. The scorching magma was instantly assimilated by the world, transforming into cube shapes that flowed silently across the ground. The scorching heat rose up, distorting and shaking the surrounding air. Water, obsidian, building framework. The process of building a portal to the lower realm, ingrained in his very bones from his past life, now unfolded smoothly in his hands. With precise mental control, he manipulated the water flow and the collision of lava, creating pieces of jet black, shimmering obsidian that were neatly arranged in a standard 4x3 frame. In a short while, a completely black portal to the lower realm, radiating mysterious spatial fluctuations, was steadily formed. Fang Ming raised his hand and gently touched the center of the teleportation portal. Buzz! A deep spatial tremor resounded throughout the heavens and earth. Within the obsidian frame, purple spatial power surged like flowing water, transforming into a hazy and eerie purple light curtain. The vortex slowly rotated, and a scorching, desolate, and violent aura from another dimension rushed towards us. The lower realm is complete. Without the slightest hesitation, Fang Ming stepped into the purple light curtain. The scene before my eyes changed drastically in an instant. The surface of the rock was crimson red, the scorching air burned the senses, the sky was a suffocating dark blood color, and the air was filled with the smell of sulfur and fire. Unlike the orderly and structured main world, the lower realm exudes a primitive and wild, untamed atmosphere. A piece of information immediately flooded my mind. The netherworld, now open. Current land area, 100m x 100m. Maximum range, 100 kilometers. World rule, eternal, cannot sleep in the nether. World resources, netherstone, soul sand, quartz, magma, nether wart. It's only 100 meters square, as cramped as a prison. But he didn't care at all, the nether expands in the same way as the overworld by placing blocks. Fang Ming had a sudden thought. The Enderman army, all have entered the nether, and are expanding the land at full speed using cobblestone, prioritizing expansion to a radius of 10 kilometers. A series of purple flashes later, 30 fully armed Endermen instantly teleport into the nether, their diamond armor gleaming coldly in the blood-red light. Upon receiving the order, they immediately began frantically moving blocks, treating the raw stones like building blocks. The land below was expanding at a frenzied pace visible to the naked eye, 100 meters, 500 meters, 1000 meters, 5000 meters. As for the netherworld, even using round stones and square stones won't solve the problem. The current netherworld rocks are only enough to stand on. Hopefully, when the world advances again, a complete continent will be generated. Just then, a sharp and eerie shriek suddenly pierced the sky, like the cry of an infant, yet with the mournful shriek of a demon. Fang Ming suddenly looked up. High in the sky, a huge, cube-shaped body floated slowly. A gigantic face, entirely grayish-white with a sorrowful expression, dangles from its body with several writhing tentacles, creating an utterly eerie sight. It is a ghast, an aerial monster unique to the lower realm. It floated slowly in the air, constantly emitting its signature howling cries. The evil spirit did not spit out a devastating fireball, it merely hovered above Fang Ming's head. A look of surprise instantly flashed in Fang Ming's eyes. Ghasts are the most valuable aerial ranged combat force in the nether. They can launch fireballs from a distance, making them extremely powerful in area of effect attacks, and their flight capabilities give them unparalleled mobility. Whether for defending a city, launching a surprise attack, or providing battlefield fire support, it is an excellent choice. In this world teeming with evil spirits, Fang Ming's aerial combat capabilities are already scarce, and the appearance of the evil spirits is like sending charcoal in snowy weather. Without the slightest hesitation, Fang Ming sent out a gentle yet irresistible force that enveloped the evil spirit. The creature, native to the lower realm, immediately stopped hissing, becoming as docile as a puppet. It obediently twisted its body and slowly landed in front of Fang Ming, its two empty eyes fixed on him, showing complete submission. Fang Ming reached out and gently touched the evil spirit. Its soft texture felt pleasant, and information immediately surfaced. Beast, ghast, unintelligent. Level 3. Belongs to Creator Fang Ming. Abilities: Fireball attack, hovering, flight without cost. Drop: Ghast tears, rare. Good. Fang Ming was overjoyed. With the addition of the ghasts, his legion filled its gap in aerial combat. Combined with the Iron Golem's ground defense, the Enderman's mobile assaults, the Skeleton Army's ranged coverage, and the Witch's potion buffs. His blocky army has now formed a comprehensive, three-dimensional combat force. Expand the nether alongside the Enderman, guarding the surroundings and eliminating any unknown creatures. Fang Ming calmly gave the order. The evil spirit let out a docile hiss, turned into a grey-white shadow, and rose into the sky. Working in conjunction with the Enderman army that is currently expanding the land, they guard this newly formed nether territory. Chapter 13. 10 days have passed in the blink of an eye, and only 72 hours remain until the start of the Zhongcheng No. 3 Middle School College competition. Fang Ming's natal world was no longer the barren place it once was, it had transformed into two vast, square-shaped territories spanning his sea of consciousness. Both the main world and the underworld have exceeded the limit of 100 kilometers, and the stone-paved land stretches as far as the eye can see. The fully automated redstone machines roared day and night, ushering in an era of unprecedented prosperity for the entire world. On the eastern side of the main world, vast stretches of fully automated tree farms have sprung up. The mechanical system, composed of redstone pistons and detectors, operates in a regular pattern, continuously producing bone meal and evenly sprinkling it onto rows of oak saplings. Trees grow, mature, are felled, and regenerate in seconds. The logs are piled up into towering mountains, completely eliminating any possibility of timber shortages. The central village has long since expanded into a large town, with hundreds of villagers each performing their own duties. The blacksmith's shop was ablaze with fire, and the librarian's bookshelves were piled high with high-level enchanted books. Emeralds were scattered all over the storage box like junk. Any one of these resources would be enough to drive an ordinary creator on Earth mad. The Iron Golem Legion has long since surpassed 3,000 members, its steel bulwark standing guard at the edge of the world like silent guardian deities. The skeleton formation stretched for several kilometers, and with just a command from Fang Ming, it could unleash a rain of arrows that blotted out the sky. 50 fully armed Endermen, clad in full sets of enchanted diamond gear, can traverse between the overworld and the nether with a flash of purple light. A witch village where hundreds of witches continuously concoct potions of healing, strength, speed, and regeneration. A vast quantity of potions were neatly categorized and stored, enough to support a protracted war. The lower realm, in particular, became the most terrifying crucible of war in Fang Ming's hands. The vast, round stone continent stretches for 100 kilometers, crisscrossed by naturally formed lava rivers. Scattered lower boundary rocks and round stones form defensive fortifications reaching heights of 100 meters. Hordes of evil spirits floated in the blood-red sky, their wails echoing through the desolate plain. Each evil spirit can spew out powerful fireballs, forming an aerial firepower network that covers the sky and the earth. The zombie piglins, wielding golden swords and clad in iron armor, number over 500. Their gregarious nature allows them to charge into battle fearlessly, even against the most terrifying demons. The zombie wartboar charges rampage, its thick hide and explosive power making it an ideal mount and the perfect choice for building a cavalry unit. Even the rarest wither skeletons have spawned in the dozens. Their jet-black bodies wield stone swords, and the withering effect they inflict on their attacks is enough to pose a deadly threat to creatures of the same level. However, Fang Ming had already replaced all of their swords with diamond swords and equipped them with full sets of diamond armor. This legion of netherworld monsters is in no way inferior to the blocky army of the overworld in terms of ferocity, numbers, and combat power. Fang Ming's world now contains terrifying combat power that most of the newly promoted creators on Earth wouldn't even dare to imagine. Fang Ming stood atop the redstone tower in the center of the main world, overlooking the vast landscape of the two planes, his palm gently touching the redstone circuits that shimmered with red light. For 10 days, he didn't step out of his house once, devoting himself entirely to the ultimate perfection of the world. Fully automated farms have mountains of grain, and fully automated mining machines are mining diamonds and rubies day and night, forming a perfect self-sufficient closed loop in the world. He is no longer the same person he once was. He is the absolute ruler who possesses two vast plains, commands an army of tens of thousands of blocks, and controls redstone technology and nether power. College Grand Competition? In Fang Ming's eyes, it was nothing more than going through the motions. He didn't want to participate in the first place. Although he didn't know what he would gain from winning first place, he knew it wouldn't be of much use to him. However, persuaded by his parents, he had no choice but to make the trip. Exiting his sea of consciousness, Fang Ming opened his eyes. Outside the window, Zhongcheng was already ablaze with lights. 20 days have passed since the awakening of the coming-of-age ceremony, and the city is still filled with the fervent atmosphere of the Creator's awakening. Everywhere you look, you see spirited young people, chatting in twos and threes about the upcoming college competition. Zhongcheng No. 3 Middle School, as an ordinary public middle school, has always been in the middle to lower ranks in the competition in previous years. However, this year, due to Li Hao's 1,000-meter Qi and Blood martial arts world, it has suddenly become the focus of heated discussion. Led by the former principal, all school resources were allocated to Li Hao. They even used the school's accumulated resources from many years, just so he could win honor for No. 3 middle school in the competition. Fang Ming had overheard all of this news from his parents. As Lu Lan cleared the dishes, she kept muttering to herself. Ming, I heard that Li Hao from your school is really popular now. The principal personally guides him every day, and many universities have already extended offers to him. Fang Jiangguo put down his newspaper and smilingly. Don't listen to your mother. We're not like everyone else. Take it slow. Develop your career well, and you'll definitely do well in the future. Fang Ming smiled but didn't offer any further explanation. He didn't tell his parents his true abilities, not because he deliberately hid them, but because he felt it was unnecessary. For him, his parents' peace and happiness were far more important than the adulation and awe of the outside world. As night deepened, Fang Ming locked the door again and did not enter the world again. Instead, he sat cross-legged on the bed, sorting out the rules of the academy competition. According to the school's announcements over the past 2 days, the competition will use a projection-based battle system. Contestants do not need to personally take risks, they only need to project the power of their own world into the arena, and the winner is determined by the strength of their world, creatures, and rules. The defeated will not die, but will only lose some of their essence and be disqualified from future competitions. It is precisely because of this security that the Academy competition has become the core arena for the creation of young entrepreneurs in Zhongcheng. The winner will receive a massive amount of world origin, rare resources, and even high-level law fragments from the Zhongcheng government. They will also be exceptionally admitted to top academies, achieving instant success. Fang Ming tapped lightly on the headboard with his fingers, a cold glint flashing in his eyes. He knew that, given Li Hao's personality, he would definitely target him deliberately during the competition. He wasn't worried, but he felt it was a bit troublesome. Li Hao must have harbored resentment over the humiliation he suffered in the alley last time. Since that's the case, let's settle this once and for all during the grand competition. Although we can't kill him outright, we should at least make sure his natal world bleeds properly. With a slight thought, Fang Ming once again sensed 2 worlds within the sea of knowledge. The main world was utterly silent. Iron golems patrolled in formation, skeleton archers drew their bows and prepared to fire, endermen stood by in silence, and witches continued to brew potions without pause. Magma surged in the nether, wither skeletons stood tall in the Soul Sand Canyon, and zombie piglins sat atop zombie warthogs, ready for battle. Evil spirits hovered high in the sky, their deathly silence concealing a world-destroying power. Fang Ming slowly closed his eyes, no longer wanting to waste his energy. Next, we simply waited quietly. Chapter 14. Soon, the day of the Academy's grand competition arrived as scheduled. The Zhongcheng No. 3 Middle School was unusually quiet in the early morning, having lost its usual hustle and bustle. The once bustling and crowded school paths are now devoid of ordinary students laughing and playing. Only a few high school seniors remained, dressed in school uniforms and surrounded by a faint aura of the world. The Awakening Monument still stands in the center of the square, its white surface still faintly reflecting the colorful glow of the coming-of-age ceremony, but the bustling crowds of that day are long gone. Fang Ming stood at the school gate, looking up at the familiar teaching building, a faint sense of emotion rising in his heart. In just 20 days, everything here has changed beyond recognition. On Earth, awakening at 18 is an insurmountable chasm. Those who successfully awaken to the Creator's power embark on an extraordinary path of nurturing the world and vying for its origin. Ordinary people who fail to awaken are trapped in the mundane world for their entire lives. They live in the same world as the Creator, yet it is as if they are in two parallel universes that never intersect. Fang Ming suppressed the slight emotions in his heart and steadily stepped back into the campus where he had lived for nearly 4 years. As I walked through the empty corridor and pushed open the classroom door of the senior class, the previously noisy discussions instantly ceased. Dozens of eyes turned to him simultaneously, some with amusement at the spectacle, some with schadenfreude and disdain, and a very few with curious scrutiny. Fang Ming knew without a doubt that before his arrival, this group of people had been talking about him. I'll bet on whether this weakest creator in history has the nerve to participate in the competition, and I'll bet on who will beat him the worst in the first round. The whispers in the corner were hushed, yet they still reached Fang Ming's ears clearly. Holy crap, Fang Ming actually dares to come? Isn't he afraid of having his world projection shattered and making a fool of himself? With only 10 meters of wasteland to begin with, isn't that just a stepping stone for the competition? They probably won't even last 10 seconds in the first round. Fang Ming ignored these harsh words, calmly walked through the crowd, and went straight to his usual seat by the window. He immediately closed his eyes to rest, as if the malice and gossip around him had nothing to do with him. This nonchalant indifference, however, made the surrounding mockers feel uneasy, yet no one dared to actually step forward and provoke them. In the back row of the classroom, Li Hao remained in his original seat. He was surrounded by Wang Hao, Zhang Yuan, and a few other sycophants who usually fawned over him. He was fawningly praising his 1000-meter Qi and blood martial arts world, repeatedly saying things like Brother Li will definitely take first place and he'll be guaranteed admission to the prestigious Genesis Academy. A smug smile played on Li Hao's lips. Surrounded by abundant vital energy, he was clearly a sign of having broken through to a higher level and became the most eye-catching focus of the entire audience. The smile on his face faded the moment Fang Ming pushed the door open and entered. A pair of eyes, like cold, lurking venomous snakes, were fixed on Fang Ming's back, their depths churning with jealousy, resentment, and an impatient killing intent. The incident where Fang Ming slapped Lin Qingxiu in the face with a few stones in the alley was like a poisonous thorn stuck in his heart, reminding him day and night to take revenge. He didn't provoke Fang Ming, instead, he silently circulated his internal energy and prepared to deliver a fatal blow on the field. Time ticked by, and the long 2.5 hours of waiting gradually made the awakened ones in the classroom restless. Some people were repeatedly rubbing the world origin ornaments on their wrists, some were closing their eyes and concentrating on stabilizing their world core, and others were huddled together discussing battle strategies. Every few minutes, Li Hao would glance at Fang Ming, his eyes growing increasingly fierce, and the fluctuations of his blood and qi becoming more and more violent. The old principal's voice would occasionally ring out over the campus loudspeaker, repeatedly emphasizing the competition rules and safety guidelines, his gentle voice carrying a hint of undeniable weariness. Finally, as the morning sunlight streamed through the classroom windows, a deep, powerful voice, imbued with the power of creation, resounded directly in the minds of every awakened individual. It was the former principal. At this moment, he hovered above Zhongcheng No. 3 Middle School, his white hair flowing, surrounded by a pale golden glow of the world's origin, his aura far more vast than on the day of his coming-of-age ceremony. Dear students, this is the last time I will speak to you as the principal of No. 3 Middle School. You have come of age, awakened to your destined world, and are now the creators of Earth. The path ahead is yours to walk. Without further ado, the 31st Zhongcheng High School Creation Academy Grand Competition now begins. As soon as the principal finished speaking, Fang Ming felt a sudden jolt in his mind. An invisible yet incredibly powerful pulling force suddenly descended, pulling his consciousness away from his body and dragging it rapidly toward a void. However, in an instant, consciousness returned to normal. What came into view was a boundless, pure white space, with no sky or earth, no up or down. Beneath my feet was a warm, soft white light, and around me floated tiny specks of primordial energy, as if I were in the chaos of the primordial universe. Countless young figures like him were scattered throughout the space. They were all high school seniors from Zhongcheng who had successfully awakened this year. Less than 2 meters in front of Fang Ming, a bronze turntable about half the height of a person was quietly suspended. The surface of the turntable is engraved with intricate runes, and rows of golden numbers, from 1 to 500, are neatly arranged along its edge. No more, no less, exactly the number of creators awakened in all the middle schools in Zhongcheng this year. Just as he was wondering about the purpose of the spinning wheel, the old headmaster's voice rang out again in the pure white space, clearly reaching everyone's ears. This year's Zhongcheng College competition will use a random draw system for matchups. Everyone reaches out and touches the lottery wheel in front of them. The number displayed after the wheel stops is your match number. The 2 creators who draw the same number will, after a 10-minute break, open the projection connection channel to their respective worlds to engage in a world battle. Each victory earns 1 point, a loss resets your points to 0, resulting in immediate elimination. After multiple rounds of cyclical battles, the top 10 creators in the final rankings will receive a large amount of world origin, rare mineral resources, and even high-level law fragments awarded by the Zhongcheng authorities. After the rules were explained, the pure white space instantly erupted in excitement. Some people were visibly excited, rubbing their hands together in anticipation. Some people looked nervous, their palms sweating. Others had sinister eyes, sizing up potential rivals. Fang Ming glanced around and soon spotted Li Hao in the distance. At this moment, Li Hao arrogantly reached out and touched the turntable, his blood surging, attracting the attention of many people around him. Fang Ming withdrew his gaze, and gently extended his fingertip forward, touching the bronze turntable in front of him. Chapter 15. The moment the fingertip lightly touched the bronze turntable, runes flowed, and the golden pointer spun rapidly before finally coming to a steady stop on the number 73. Fang Ming withdrew his hand, his gaze calmly sweeping across the pure white space. He quickly found his opponent, who was also parked at number 73, on the other side a boy wearing an unfamiliar middle school uniform. He was slightly thin, with a hint of nervousness in his eyes. When Fang Ming looked over, he managed to give a forced nod as a greeting. 10 minutes later, Battle Channel 73 will open. As the old principal's voice faded, the pure white space fell into a brief silence as everyone focused their attention,